All around the world we're telling stories. All around the world we're saying once upon a time.
Hi campers, my name is Dana and I am the Education Director for Sparkler Learning. Welcome back to another week of camp. This week our story comes from the American South, from South Carolina to be precise, and it comes out of the African American culture. My friend Devante Owens is here to tell you the story, and it is called The Flying Africans. Now, campers, I want to tell you before the story begins that there are some parts of the story that are pretend and magical, and there are also some parts of the story that are real, true things that happened in history. It is true that African people with brown skin, like mine, were captured and enslaved, and that means that the people were made to work and not treated very well at all for a long time. But don't worry, because our story today has a happy ending. Now, grown-ups, if you want to have more information about how to talk with your child about this difficult topic, you can check out the sources that are linked below. And if you happen to be viewing this video in your Sparkler app, you can go ahead and click on that little orange tips button for even more information. Now, I hope you enjoy the story, and I'll see you on the other side.
Hi there, I'm Devante Owens, and I'm an actor and educator who lives in New York City. Even though I live in New York City now, my family still lives in South Carolina, and that is where I was born. Did you know that the people could fly? They say that long ago in Africa, some of the people knew magic and could fly like birds in the sky. They had sun-kissed brown skin and black-brown wings with feathers that could carry them anywhere they wanted to go. One day, some men with pale skin came to Africa from far away. They came in huge ships to capture the Africans and take them far from their homes. And that is what they did. They caught the African people, those who could fly and those who couldn't. They chained their arms and legs together so that they couldn't escape, and they put them on their ships. The ones that could fly had to shed their wings because the ship holds were hot and crowded. Their journey across the ocean was long and hard, and when they finally reached the land, the African people were sold into slavery. They were made to work in fields growing crops for the men with pale skin. They worked in the blazing sun and in the freezing cold. They worked from early in the morning until late at night. The cruel bosses only gave them scraps to eat, and they slept in shacks. It was nothing like their precious homes in Africa, and the enslaved Africans were overcome with despair. In their misery and sadness, even those that once could fly couldn't use their powers to fly away. Over time, most people even forgot they could fly. But there were a few who kept to the old ways. These elders, the grandparents in the community, would sing songs in the language of their homeland to help them remember. They sang and waited for the right moment. And one day, the right moment arrived. The sun burned down on them so much that the crops seemed to shimmy and shake with the heat waves rising off the ground. The Africans were exhausted from work, yet the bosses demanded more. The babies were crying from hunger and thirst, yet there was no water or shelter for them. On a day just like that, the elders began to sing, quietly at first, and then louder so that their voices rose over the field. The words of their songs were magic, and those that once could fly looked up from their work towards the sky. Their eyes shone as they suddenly remembered the feeling of flying through the air. And at that moment, their feet left the ground. One by one, the people rose up into the sky. Dark brown bodies against the bright blue sky. Higher and higher, they soared up into the clouds so that their bosses couldn't reach them. And away they flew. Some say that they flew off of the plantation to safer land. Others say that they flew across the ocean all the way back home to Africa. But everyone agrees that once they flew away, they were free again.
Thanks, Devante, for sharing that story, and thanks to you for listening. Now it's your turn to get busy playing activities inspired by the story. I hope you have lots of fun this week, and I hope you come back again next week to find out what else happens once upon a time.